Hello, Florence, and welcome to our conversation today, and welcome everyone else who is tuning in to our next episode of Vulture Conversations.
Hi,
So
Bettina.
today we are talking about, is hairstyle an issue? And what we really mean is your black hairstyle an issue in the white society that you're living in?
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah.
You know, hairstyle, the topic hairstyle is for me something that I think I was born with. Because, of course, my normal hairstyle is an afro. Yeah, that's my normal hairstyle. But I was born in Germany and I was raised in Germany, and our climate here is different to Nigeria, where my parents come from. And the hair needs moisture. The hair needs the warm climate. But of course, we don't have that here. Yes, now we have, yeah, it's summer and it's quite warm. But the humidity is not the one that we have in Nigeria, for example. So that's why the hair breakage is really severe. And it's difficult to maintain the hair in the way the hair needs it. And the first 20 years of my life, it was just something on my head. It was not a hairstyle, it was something. And I looked like a boy. That's why I always had to wear dresses and skirts. And for me, I didn't really feel well with what I had on my head. And then I saw a group in Germany. It's called Milli Vanilli. I don't know whether you know them in England.
I don't know
Although
what.
they're
Oh,
internationally known. Do you know them?
I know them because I lived in Austria then, and they were
Okay.
very well known. I'm actually not aware whether it's a thing here in the UK. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So, and one of the singers, he had braids, and I loved them. And then I said to my mom, my German white mom, I would like to have this braids. Well, that was a mistake because she just saw that guy and said no. But I thought, well, it looked so lovely. And then I worked at the airport in Germany, one airport, and I had a colleague, and she had braids as well. And she said, you know, I can do that for you. Well, and then I tried to convince my mom, and then I had my first protective hairstyle. And I love that.
What is a protective hairstyle?
Protective hairstyle means that the hairstyle I have, like for example, now I have twists, and it protects my own hair. Yeah. So the hair is not just open and can't break. Well, the hair breaks like all hair breaks, but not because it is just there, but with a twist and with some protection, yeah, my hair is what it said, protected, yeah, and can
Another thing
grow
that I will
and
look up.
yeah. Come again?
That's another thing that I will look up. Totally. I have never heard of protective hairstyle.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So there are lots of
Ah.
ways to do this. And then so when I was 20, I started to wear my braids, the protective hairstyles, and people who have never spoken to me before and who haven't even seen me saw me and said, well, congratulations. That's a nice hairstyle. That's a nice hairdo. That's so beautiful. Yeah. And it really, I loved it. And from that day on, I had this hairstyle. And then I was like 30 and I began to work. And then I thought, well, now I'm in this white environment, and perhaps I just have I just straighten my hair. Yeah. And I have a perm. And then one white person approached me and said, oh, that's nice because that's something we are used to. Yeah. And I thought, okay. And then my son, he was very small at that time, he said, oh, mom, please do braids again because that looks so good on you. Yeah. And then I continued with braids, and till today, I have braids or twists or crochet or whatever. Yeah.
See, and that's what I would have interpreted rather as a protective hairstyle, that you have the hairstyle to protect yourself from the judgment of others,
Yeah.
of being black and with your hair and yeah, the way your hair
Yeah.
is styled, right?
I know what you mean. And someone can understand it that way, but that's
Yeah,
totally not what is
not
meant.
what is meant.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I heard one interview with Michelle Obama. And when you look at Michelle Obama's pictures now, she has
Yes.
braids, beautiful braids,
Mm-hmm.
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Long ones, really,
Mm-hmm.
really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Although in Germany, lots of ladies say the older you get, the shorter the hair has to be, which
Yeah,
I
true,
think is
true.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Mm.
you don't have to have short hair because you are over 40. That's ridiculous, or even over 50. And Michelle is over 60 and she has very long, beautiful braids. Yeah. And then she said in that interview, now as Barack is not in the White House anymore, I wear braids because before the election, I had the fear that when I had braids at that time, nobody would have voted for him because he has an African woman, African wife. Yeah. So, and that's why she had either her wigs or her perms or whatever to look European. Yeah. But now she does not care anymore and she really looks lovely. Yeah. And
Mhm.
I can understand that because I also had a time, as I said, when I thought, well, perhaps the perm is
Mhm.
more European and then I get more accepted. And I know from one girl, she had braids and her boss said, tomorrow you have to come with the correct hairstyle, which is racist. Yeah.
Correct was the word he used?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So that is interesting because I think a lot of black women style their hair in a way to, yeah, to respond to norms that are given by a white society. There is no right or wrong, but
Yes.
they then fear problems, challenges, obstacles
Yeah.
if they wear their hair the way they want to.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has to wear the hair as he or she wants. Yeah.
Mhm.
There are even young people who say, I wear my natural hair, I wear my afro. Yeah.
Mhm.
Which also is okay. For me, it's okay as long as you can take care of your hair. And for
Mhm.
me, the protective hairstyle here in Germany with the climate I just explained, it's easier to have the protective hairstyle.
Mhm.
And I don't have, the hairdressers who can really do this little pixie or what it's called, pixie cut or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
You really need someone who can
Understands.
support you and who can do that. Yeah.
Very true. You talked about your makeup once in our conversations as
Yes.
well. People have to know how, yeah, adapt to different settings, that
Yes.
your skin reacts differently to light than mine does.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you need a different setting, hence. Yeah,
Absolutely,
interesting.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And I mean, now we have the internet. Just yesterday, I saw one or watched one little episode from what's Naomi Campbell, yeah, with a 10-minute makeup do, yeah, which is
Mhm.
lovely. And you can also order the product, so it
Mhm.
is really easier now than like 30 years ago.
Ago.
It's
Mhm.
really better. And yesterday I had to buy a sunblocker. And
Mhm.
I went to the pharmacist, to pharmacy, and asked the pharmacist and said, "Well, I would like to have a sunblocker,
Yeah.
which is not white at the end of the day." Yeah,
Mhm.
because lots of them have a white shade. And that was so nice because she was white and she exactly understood what I
What you
meant.
meant.
And
Mhm.
then she showed me some different and said, "Oh, let's test this, let's test that." I tested on my skin color, so she tested it on hers, and then
Mhm.
I on mine, and that was so lovely because I really noticed she knows what I mean. Yeah.
Mhm. coming back to the hair, sorry, just to round it up as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever been discriminated because of how you are wearing your hair, or did wear it at the time?
Not really. So,
Mhm.
I mean, the person who said, "Ah, the perm is what we know, what we are
Yeah,
used
yeah.
to," was discrimination, although
All right.
he didn't mean it that way, but it was a discrimination. Yeah. And at the beginning, when I was 20 and had my braids, a reverend, you have to listen, reverend, yeah, he came to me, approached me, and said, "Congratulations." And I thought, and even asked, "It's not my birthday," because I didn't really know what he wanted to
What
say.
he
And
meant.
he said, "No, it's your hairstyle." Yeah. And I thought, "You're a reverend. You shouldn't talk to me like that." Yeah.
But what did he really mean?
Well, he thought that this hairstyle made me gorgeous. I mean, it's nice that he
Ah,
thought that, yeah. But I thought, "You're a reverend. You're a reverend of my mom's. So don't tell me I look beautiful." Yeah. But that's what he meant. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I would have thought he just meant that you're beautiful.
Yes, I guess that's what he wanted to say, but I wasn't
Yeah.
used to something
You
like
were
that.
shocked. Yeah.
I was shocked that a reverend tells me that, a white
Mhm.
reverend.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, all right. Then thank you for sharing your hair experiences.
Yes.
I think it is an issue in very many areas still. People discriminated for it or can't or don't want to wear it the way they are born because they feel it's not appropriate in the environment they're in, and that should really not be like this.
No, just wear
Um,
what you want to wear. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that story, that side of your story, and for, yeah, enlightening that
Yes.
part of
And
your
thank you for
life.
asking me this question because
You're very
that's one
welcome.
of my questions. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Have a lovely day. See you soon, Florence.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.